silent screams. The name alone sends a chill down my spine, like the ghost of something lost, something forgotten. Every night, I find myself drawn to the dark corners of the world, searching for stories that unsettle, stories that leave a mark long after they've ended. And tonight, I have one for you. It was the kind of night when the air felt too thick to breathe, and the world seemed to fall into a deep, unnatural quiet. The kind of silence where every small sound, a creak of wood, a distant thunderclap, the whistling wind, seemed to echo, as if the very earth was holding its breath. I was alone in the house, just like every other night, but tonight, something felt different. I live in a house that's been around for far too long. At least, that's what people say. No one knows exactly how old it is, or who built it. It's been passed from owner to owner, and for some reason, they always leave in a hurry, leaving behind only rumors, whispers in the dark. I should have left, too, but something keeps me here. Maybe it's the familiarity. Maybe it's the emptiness that wraps around me like a blanket. That night, I was sitting in the living room, the glow of my phone screen the only light in the room. The floorboards creaked under the weight of my foot as I shifted, scrolling mindlessly through the news, trying to push away the unsettling thoughts that had been creeping in for days. The house had felt colder than usual. I could have sworn I'd heard something moving upstairs. At first, I thought it was just the wind rattling the old windows, or maybe an animal in the attic. But deep down, I knew it wasn't that. It was something else. The clock ticked louder than usual. Tick, tick, tick. The rhythmic sound echoed in the stillness, filling the space around me. I tried to ignore it, but my eyes kept darting to the stairs, the shadowed hallway beyond. There was something out there. I could feel it, like a presence, waiting, watching. I stood up, the floor creaking beneath me. I shouldn't have gone upstairs. Every part of me screamed to just stay put, to forget whatever it was and go to bed. But curiosity, or maybe something darker, urged me forward. I reached the bottom of the stairs and froze. For a split second, I thought I saw something, a figure standing at the top, just beyond the reach of the dim hallway light. It was just a shadow at first, but then, it moved. Not a person, no. More like a wisp of smoke, something unnatural. My heart began to race. I wasn't alone. My feet moved on their own, carrying me up the stairs despite every instinct telling me to turn and run. I reached the top of a staircase, and for a moment, everything was quiet. Too quiet. The kind of silence that makes you feel like you're the only person alive, like the world has forgotten you. And then I heard it. A soft whisper, almost inaudible, just behind me. Go back. I whipped around, heart in my throat, but there was nothing there. The hallway stretched out before me, empty. I was losing my mind, I told myself. It was just the stress, the isolation, the nerves. Nothing more. But then, I saw it again. At the far end of the hall, at the edge of my vision, there was a figure standing in the doorway to the guest room. It wasn't fully formed, not like a person. It was like a shadow, a black stain against the pale wallpaper, just waiting, watching. I couldn't move. My legs felt like they were made of stone, my body frozen in place. The whispering came again, but this time it was louder. Leave. The voice was soft, melodic, but filled with a sharpness that sent ice running through my veins. My eyes were locked on the figure, and with every blink, it seemed to draw closer. At first, I thought it was my imagination, but then it reached out, a thin, claw-like hand stretching toward me. I backed away, stumbling, my breath catching in my throat. But no matter how far I moved, the figure came closer. Slowly, inexorably. My feet shuffled backward until my back hit the wall. That's when I heard the footsteps. Heavy, deliberate, like something, was walking toward me. The floorboards groaned under the weight, the sound growing louder with each passing second. I turned, frantically searching for an escape, but the hallway was narrow. The figure was too close now. I could feel its presence behind me, like cold breath on my neck. The air grew colder. I reached for the light switch on the wall, my fingers trembling, but before I could flick it, the lights went out. Darkness. Complete and utter darkness. The kind of dark that presses in on you, suffocating, filling your lungs with a weight that you can't shake off. I stumbled forward, my hands outstretched, but I could no longer tell where the walls were. I couldn't even hear the footsteps anymore. It was as if the whole house had swallowed them up. I didn't know what to do. I had to get out, but the house, it felt alive, as if the walls themselves were shifting, pulling me deeper into their maze. Suddenly, the air around me shifted. I felt it. A presence, different from before, moving toward me, slower this time, deliberate. It wasn't the figure anymore. This was something else, something older, more ancient. And then, I heard it. A sound that sent me reeling, an old, creaking sound, like the groan of a door opening, but it came from the walls themselves. The house seemed to be speaking, whispering something I couldn't understand, the words curling around me like smoke. The temperature dropped even further, so cold that my breath began to mist in front of me. I was not alone. Something was in this house with me. Something that had been waiting, watching. The feeling of being watched grew stronger. I turned toward the stairs, trying to ignore the growing dread that clawed at me. But the hallway seemed to stretch, getting longer with each step I took, the shadows stretching toward me. I was so close to the stairs when I felt it, something cold, sharp, like fingers trailing down my spine. A whisper, soft at first, but unmistakable, not yet. My body froze. I turned, but there was nothing there. The floor groaned beneath me, and then, from the corner of my eye, I saw it. A figure, barely there, standing at the foot of the stairs. A shadow, twisted and wrong. It wasn't human. Its face was obscured, hidden beneath something that looked like a veil, but not one made of cloth. No, this veil was made of darkness, swirling like smoke, shifting, never settling. I could feel its gaze on me, even if I couldn't see its eyes. It was as if it was studying me, waiting for me to make the wrong move. My heart was pounding, my breath shallow. I couldn't move. The air around me felt thick, suffocating. The walls felt like they were closing in, the darkness pressing harder on my chest. And then, without warning, the figure spoke. Its voice wasn't a whisper this time. It was clear, deep, almost like a growl. Leave, or stay forever. I didn't need to be told twice. I ran. But the house didn't let me leave.